Coffee, candle, let's go. This week we got new characters, new animations, new scenes, new holes in walls. Yeah, we've got it all. If you're unaware, the Indiegogo campaign is currently live and sitting at 15%. I'd love if you could check it out, links are in the description. I started this week with some planning, as I like to do, and if you've been watching for a while, it's our old pal Sprintboard. This guy helped me get the demo from Random Pieces to working in a week.
Thank you, Sprintboard. I love you.
Thanks, Past Andrew, and also look how short my hair was. I wanted to give myself a clear goal for the next few weeks, and that is to get every single scene boxed out and ready to add the story, logic, and gameplay. Of course, I will be doing other stuff in between. So I wrote down all the levels that I needed to do. Some may crop up or branch from these, but we'll tackle that as they come out. Cut them into little pieces and pin them to the board. Quick editing interjection here. So these are all the levels of the game. A lot of them have already been completed, but I just wanted a complete list so I can go through, double check everything before taking it off the board. So don't think that I'm starting from a point of having nothing done. This board sits nicely on the edge of my desk so that it's always looming over me and keeping me on track. You might have seen this in one of my Twitter posts, but I decided to go and add a little bit of flair to the pool area from last week. While I said it was good to get the basics done, I realized that adding a little bit of something to the areas I create also helps me with marketing posts and getting more eyes on the game. So I chucked in some objects of interest, the diving equipment, created some signs for the area, which I think in this footage has a spelling mistake, but it's since been fixed. Took a quick screen recording and made a GIF, but onto the real work this week. The first thing I decided to do was work on the bathroom. I always liked it, but it didn't have any toilets, and public toilet spaces for me are just super creepy, so we needed to get that in there. I did a full remodel of the actual shower area too, paying close attention to what you can see as you come around the corner, because hidden things can be creepy, before continuing on and just finishing all the shower stalls. The other thing I wanted to do was spruce up the environment just a tiny bit by adding a sign that talks about privacy. Osiris say to always keep yourself in the frame, but it's not super cool if they're recording you showering or in the bathroom. So I quickly knocked together a new sign texture, as well as a texture for a shower sign to indicate where it is, because that's nice and it's a polite thing to do for people. There was one problem when designing the new bathroom, and that is I didn't consider the main gameplay mechanic, and that is that you can put the camera down. With one of the scares, you place the camera down, shut off a water valve, then the monster appears. I also want this to be a place where the player needs to hide, yet everything had a lot less space now. So what's the solution? Move the camera around, move the pipes, and let's add in the hiding mechanic. I spent some time working on getting the animations created and working for the shower curtains. Then to demonstrate the point, I added in a little action list where you interact with a shower curtain, Riley enters, and the monster walks by. While this isn't how it'll happen in the end, again, it was just one of those things. It was good for showcasing the hiding mechanic in a GIF and marketing the game. Now, this next spot I was really excited about designing, and as part from much later in the game, the Osiris Labs. Now, when designing this area, it had to be where, they've kind of spent a bit more money, because this is where they've got all their scientists, their administration facilities. So I started putting... So yeah, how cool does that look? With that area designed, I'm pretty happy with how things are going. Another thing that I hadn't shown up until now was the other enemies you encounter in the game. It's not just the monster you have to deal with, there will be some variation. As you progress, you'll find places that you probably shouldn't be going. You're meant to stay on your level of the bunker, and that's it. The rest is you being nosy and trying to find answers. This is where you'll encounter the cleanup crews. When things go wrong, Osiris send them in to investigate, and you'll find them there. And they're not happy if you interrupt their work. They're based on a combination of sound and line of sight. Now, don't get too concerned. The gameplay for this will be balanced and not unfair. I hate stealth missions where it's an instant fail, and I wouldn't do that to you. I found a model that will suit the purpose for now and got to work personalizing the textures, adding an Osiris nameplate to their head, and also making the visor into the Osiris yellow branding. Yeah, this texture work is a little rough, but after this recording, I had to redo this again when Unity crashed. I guarantee they are a bit better now. I then made an emissive texture for the visor so that it just glows a little bit in the environment. And the other thing I needed to do was get some animations sorted for them. and then make sure that the weapon looks fine when they're animating. For animations, I went to see my best friend, Mixamo. These animations are good and you can customize a lot with them. I found a few for idle, walking, aiming, and then got to creating the animation tree inside Unity, as well as triggers for if they have a target so that they stop, raise their gun, and aim. I did this a little lazily and just put the speed to -1 for the animation, effectively reversing it so that I didn't need to get a secondary animation. It works, it'll do. Cut corners where you can. And they're in, doing their thing. If you've seen my Twitter post recently, then this will look familiar, but it's in a much higher quality here on YouTube. I simply put a path in there for them to follow, and a trigger so that when the first soldier hits a point, it causes the other to enter from the doorway and follow its own path. Just a little cutscene introducing them into the game. Oh, and really quickly, I realized for the stealth mechanic, we will need to be able to crouch, so I added that. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. Let's move on. Just a quick shout out to Feedback Quest. I submitted We Are Not Alone to one of these a while back and it was great. The feedback I got was awesome and really helped me moving forward, so definitely check it out, as well as the Indie Questing team, links are in the bio. The cool thing about submitting to another feedback quest is last time I submitted a game it looked like what you're seeing on screen, and since then has had the major graphical overhaul you see today, so we get cool stuff like what you're seeing now. So this is what the video of the title is talking about. It wasn't a spelling mistake, we're talking about greats. This was something that I had been putting off, not because it was super difficult, I really don't know why. That is creating the vent system that connects some parts of the facility you normally wouldn't be able to access. I took one of the current wall pieces, opened up ProBuilder, then put in a bunch of edge loops. Easy, and yeah, obviously it messed up the texture alignment. I took the segment that was created and extruded or pushed it back to make a little tunnel, then added a metal texture before fixing the rest of the wall texture. I really don't know why I put this off for so long, but it's done. It's only used once or twice in the entire game, but now I have it ready to go. There have been a few other things I will quickly touch on. The auditorium has now become a conference room because it just makes much more sense given the location and the height of all the floors. I also started implementing the document system, which is very easy as it comes built into the Adventure Creator tool I'm using, but I'd never touched it before and will be used for collecting certain evidence, and also is how you will be reading the short stories that people write that get put into the game, which is another perk of the Indiegogo campaign. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm really enjoying doing this new style of devlog. I'm finding it's just making me a lot more productive because I'm recording everything. And I'm also still trying to figure out this new format, recording what I need to, when I need to, rather than just a 4-hour segment. But anyway, there is a link in the description to the Indiegogo campaign. If you could check that out and share it around with anyone that might be interested, I would really appreciate it. See you next time.